It is 5 o'clock on this Thursday and day 5 of the heat wave. We are inching closer to another 100-degree day in Portland. And this afternoon, we found out the extreme heat now appears to have claimed more lives.
We first heard about 2 deaths yesterday, and about 90 minutes ago, the state medical examiner confirmed 2 more. 3 of the deaths happened in Multnomah County, one on Monday, another on Wednesday, and an additional death yesterday. The other case happened in Umatilla County on Tuesday. Medical examiners will now work to confirm the official causes of death.
Meanwhile, some local business owners, are not taking any chances. They are adjusting and staying flexible in order to keep their workers safe.
Christelle Kumwe takes us to Oregon City, where one restaurant is changing things up in the kitchen.
At Coaster's Crossing Brew Pub in Oregon City, owner Brian Grant shared his recipe for success.
Happy employees is the key to good restaurants, Happy employees makes happy life.
So when temperatures reached triple digits this week, he decided to shut down the kitchen by 2 p.m. every day.
After we open up, we make our clam chowder, pre-cook some chicken, bacon, that sort of thing, and then turn off the kitchen and keep our employees from roasting. Those guys work their tails off and it gets hot back there, and so we want to make sure they're happy.
They've also closed the patio for the safety of employees.
Come on in and chill out.
And created a special chill-out menu.
These are just a condensed version of the menu we already have.
With cold food items like salads, sandwiches, and oyster shooters.
The price items are a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, so it's it's impacting it some, but we're still hanging in there. We're still doing this fine.
Other restaurants are also adjusting. Both Papa Hayden locations on Northwest 23rd and Southeast Milwaukee are closing at 5 p.m. Thursday instead of 10 to give employees relief from the heat. Event organizers are following suit.
It can get hot when you're just standing out on concrete.
Organizers of last Thursday on Alberta Street postponed tonight's gathering because of extreme heat. The event brings together local vendors and artists the last Thursday of every month from June through August.
This was a decision that was made both by our partners and by PBOT together, and they opted to just play it safe and make sure that we're not putting anyone in unneeded risk.
A feeling shared by Brian Grant at Coaster's Crossing, who says his employees helped him through a difficult couple of years with the pandemic.
It's been a rough 2 years. But we made it.
And wants to make sure their well-being really comes before everything else.
Their family got to take care of those people. They take care of me,
Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
We do have to take care of each other, and let's get to Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino. Matt, sounds like this heat is going to stick around through the weekend.
Yeah, it's going to linger into Sunday. Sunday will still be cooler. I think Saturday will be the hottest day that we have to contend with going forward. We hit 96 today, so the same as yesterday so far. We may end up at 97 or so, but at least we stayed below 100 degrees, unlike Tuesday when we topped out at 102. Remember, 107 in the Dalles, hundreds down in Southern Oregon. In fact, Medford hit 110. With the coast, you can still find relief at the coast. The coast will not be heating up. Up in the Cascades, though, watching radar, because we're getting some buildups up there. There have been some thunderstorms in Central Oregon, but really that's the only chance of rain other than the occasional spot of drizzle at the Oregon coast. Overnight tonight, we'll drop into the 70s about midnight or so. Still be around 80 at 11 o'clock. And eventually drop into the upper 60s, but not for very long, because temperatures will begin to ramp up pretty quickly again tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be a lot like today, maybe a couple degrees warmer. 69 at 7 a.m., 92 at noon, and then 99 tomorrow. And again, we will have at least one more triple-digit day. I'll talk about the timing, why Saturday looks warmer, and how the cooling will begin to delight us, I think, as we go to next week, guys. Back to you.
It's a great word. Thanks, Matt. After 69 people died during last year's June heat dome, Multnomah County leaders promised enhanced outreach and door-to-door checks. Our Evan Watson followed up today and found this week the county and city of Portland are leaving most in-person checks to nonprofits and housing providers, though the city adds it is sending out tens of thousands of automated messages to people in high-risk areas.
There's never going to be enough firefighters or, even enough, trained volunteers to go and knock on every single door. But everybody has somebody who cares about them, and that is really has to be the solution.
Coming up at 6 on The Story, we'll introduce you to these volunteers reaching out and have more on why housing providers appear to be better prepared this year than last.
Cooling shelters have been open in Multnomah County all week, and we wanted to see how many people are actually using them. The county and the city of Portland have expanded capacity at 4 existing shelters to accommodate nearly 300 people. On Tuesday, around 130 people stayed in those 4 shelters. We went to the Sunrise Center cooling shelter in East Multnomah County and talked with Kyle Wadsworth. She was living downtown during the heat dome last year. Now she's staying at the Sunrise Center and says this year the county's doing a better job of getting the word out.
Yeah, last year I was here for that, and I was downtown and I was actually sleeping outside and down in Chinatown, and people were handing out water and whatnot, but I was actually like passing out and not having a good time, and I didn't know what resources there were. So yeah, this year is definitely a lot better than it was last year.
If people need help getting to a cooling center or a cooling shelter, they can call 211. For a list of cooling centers, you can go to our website, kgw.com.
We're getting some new details this afternoon about the death of Oregon football player Spencer Webb. According to a Lane County Sheriff's Department report, Webb was attempting to climb a near vertical cliff when he fell some 25 to 30 feet. That is according to the Oregonian, which got the report from a public records request. Webb was climbing the rock slides near Triangle Lake with some friends. The 22-year-old suffered a gash on his elbow and a large cut on his forehead. Of course, Webb was a beloved tight end on the Ducks football team. His family is going to hold a public memorial in his hometown of Sacramento on Saturday.
Within the last 4 days, Portland police officers have been involved in 3 shootings. This time they were responding to a man witnesses say was firing multiple guns wildly into the air. Tim Gordon's in the newsroom. And Tim, this happened in southeast Portland.
This happened after 911 dispatchers got several calls about shots being fired by a man in his front yard. The calls started coming in shortly after 8 last night, and dispatchers could actually hear the shots being fired in the background. So officers moved in to southeast 126th Avenue just off of Burnside. They requested help from the Focused Intervention Team, which is geared to handle gun violence. A fit officer ended up shooting the man in the yard. Well, neighbors today say the man lived at the home with a wife and young daughter. And one neighbor right across the street told us that young girl was in the front yard last night as this was happening. He described what he saw after the gunfire stopped.
When I looked out the front, I saw officers removing the daughter from the scene, and I could see somebody on the porch face down.
It's alarming. I have never seen or experienced anything like it in my career, and those who've been around longer have also indicated the same. We are in uncharted waters, and it's so scary.
In the meantime, this latest deadly incident has the community and police overwhelmed and frustrated. Police say the gun and other violence they are responding to this summer is unprecedented. 2 officers have been injured in separate incidents this past week as well. And in this latest case, police won't be saying much about it until after investigations are complete and a grand jury has weighed in. David?
Unprecedented and overwhelming. Not really the words we want to hear right now. Thank you, Tim. We do want to draw your attention, though, to a standoff of sorts with law enforcement that was resolved peacefully. An armed man police say tried to hide from them on a condo rooftop is now in custody. This all began Wednesday afternoon around 4:30. This was along Barnes Road near Miller Road. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says Eric Lane was wanted for robbery, domestic violence, and assault. People living in the building had to shelter in place. They were told to stay away from their windows. Now, after hours of negotiations, Lane left the roof just before midnight. He'll appear in court tomorrow afternoon.